Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Working with Hierarchical Data in App Builder. My name is Jason Barris. I'm an SVP here at Infragistics. With me again is Zdravko Kolev, who is our product development manager, and he runs the App Builder team. So Zdravko is going to be running through some killer new stuff that we've just introduced in App Builder this month. So what are we going to cover today? First, we'll look at working with complex data, and as part of that, what are the components that could benefit from this? So when you think about hierarchical data, there are several ways. You have flat data, tables that are joined. You want to display to your users in ways that make sense, and it needs to be using components that know what to do with that data. So with App Builder, what we've done is we've improved the experience of the properties editor to work with these components that support hierarchical data to give you more flexibility and control over how you display it. So in the webinar, we're going to look at those components like the tree grid, the tree, the data grid, hierarchical grid, etc. Which again, the hierarchical grid is new inside of App Builder. That wasn't there last year. So all of this is new stuff. Or it was there late last year. So if you've been paying attention, you know that it was there, but today you'll see how to use it. And then how do you bind data to it? How do you configure those bindings? That's the key thing. So Zdravko is going to spend 20 minutes or so and walk us through some scenarios. He has a killer demo today. I've seen it. And you will learn how you can effectively use these components with your data. So we'll do that demo, we'll do a poll, and then of course we will wrap it up. Quick housekeeping as usual, ask questions in the Q&A or the chat. We have myself and some others standing by to answer questions. Slides and recording will be sent tomorrow in a follow-up. If you are not familiar with App Builder, it is designed to help you design and build real apps blazing fast. So what we've done is we've built a WYSIWYG in the cloud that lets you use drag and drop to create any type of application that you want bound to your real data. So you don't have to use fake data. You're not using a random Excel sheet. You're using your open API endpoints, connecting them into App Builder, and then using those in data-bound components to do everything that you need to create real applications. And then coming out of that, you get production-ready code in React, Angular, Blazor, and web components. So that's the real cool part, is that anything that you're designing and building, you get production-ready code with that. So you're not losing anything. If you make a change, great. We'll generate a pull request. You can merge that, and you get that back into your source repository. Our goal is to bring the joy of VB6 back into building applications. So we continue to add more and more features to App Builder that helps you write less and less code. So features like CRUD, nested bindings, column templates, master detail, hierarchical data, bound fields, routing and parameters. We just shipped the form builder in Q4. So all of these things that you need to deliver business critical features in your applications, plus all of the beautiful theming and responsiveness that you get, helps you really build or write less code that you would otherwise be hand coding. You'd be otherwise searching help docs to try to figure out how to do certain things. All you do is you design, you select the language that you want this in, and we will output that code for you. So our goal is to give you the best low-code tool on the market with production-ready code that helps you then go continue to build your software, your enterprise software, whatever, internal, external app, we don't care, but we're giving you that time back that you would otherwise have to be hand coding, debugging code, shipping bugs, fixing them later, etc. If you're using Figma, great, we'll go from Figma into App Builder to code as well. So you have some options there. So with that, I don't want to spend any more time on slides. I'm going to hand it off to Zdravko. So Zdravko, take it away.
Thank you, Jason, and hello, everyone. I'm very glad to see you all here. So I won't delay the webinar any further, the actual demo. Today we're going to show you how to handle complex data sets and explore the key differences between the various components designed to work with different data structures. Specifically, I'm going to go through the tree grid component, a regular tree, and a hierarchical grid. We'll discuss their unique strengths and use cases, because you know that choosing the right component is crucial, as it depends on your data structure, the interaction that it needs to handle, and the application requirements in general. So this is why we are going to go through different data structures and different components and how they handle them. How we're going to start, you know that you can always head to a builder dev and there see all the new blocks and features that we release. You have the guest access by hitting the try a builder button. Now, because I'm already logged in, I'm going to go through the regular login process, which opens my projects. And because I already created a workspace that is related to the January webinar that we're having right now, I'm going to actually show you first what the result will be. These are the different views that we are going to have. We're going to have a hierarchical grid, which is going to show you different child levels. We're going to have more visual representations with a chart. We're going to have a tree component, and we're going to have a plain tree grid as an example. And this is going to be achieved with ease, thanks to the app builder. I'm heading over to the my favorite template, which I very much like. It gives me a navigation bar with a routing navigation with different views. Here we have 3 of them. I'm going to very quickly rename the application, which is going to be January demo. And here each of the views are going to handle the components that I just mentioned. First, we are going to start with a tree grid. Afterwards, we are going to go and see a tree component, and the hierarchical grid is going to be the third one. So this is my view. Actually, I will only delete the content here. Let's start with the tree grid. Tree grids are excellent for handling structured data, or so to say, self-referencing data sets. That is data that follows a consistent format. As you can see now, I'm going to add a tree grid here, and we are going to be presented with a structure that shows employees that can manage other employees. This type of data is easy to navigate because each level follows the same format and relationships. As you can see, the format for the root employee is the same as the format for the the first child employee and the next one. The tree grid automatically loads this data without additional configuration, which is great. And these are the components. This is the component that actually comes with a very powerful out-of-the-box features like filtering, sorting, and here you can see all the other features available for the tree grid that make them ideal for performance and other built-in functionalities that may suit your needs, like editing, for example, or whatever your application needs are. If we go to a preview now, we can actually see that yes, the employee ISA, which is VP of accounting, has that many employees, and I see that there is this tax accountant, Mr. Gisi, and Heli, which is underneath him as an accountant 3 title. So yeah, this is the type of structure of data structure that the tree grid handles with ease. The next component that we are going to look at is going to be the tree. I'm going to add a tree. As you can see, we always bind each of the components with some default data in order to give you a clue how you can use the actual components. For the sake of the demo, I'm going to just remove these because the tree is declarative and it gives me a lot of power to declare as many nodes as I want. But for now, I only want to have 2 levels. So yeah, taking a step back, on the other hand, the tree component takes a more flexible approach, a more declarative approach. While it lacks built-in features like filtering and sorting that I showed with the tree grid already, it offers great customization for displaying heterogeneous data, like different data. Where each level is in the hierarchy may have a different structure, so to say. For example, you may have food categories at the top level with products listed underneath, and another category for the purchases that have been placed and that someone have bought. So, for example, now I'm not going to use food and purchases because we do have a data set that gives regions and territories, something that I want to show off right now. You know that with the last year's releases, we have released a new type of data source that you can use, the Northwind Swagger as a default one. Here you can see all the endpoints listed for customers, orders, employees, everything that you need. There is a new endpoint that gives hierarchical data, but this is going to be covered in the next step when we actually talk about the hierarchical grid as well. So how do we bind the components to data? On the properties panel here on the right, you can use the data mode, and from here we can say, okay, go for the Northwind Swagger, and I want to list all the regions that comes with this data. The three node properties, which are right here, show you different ways to configure your content. So, for example, I want the content not to be static, like as we used it in the initial example. Instead of design here, I want to say from the data context, which comes from the data source that we bound the tree to, which is the regions, go and show me the region description. As you can see, we show this kind of a preview of the data that we have for Eastern, Western, Northern, and Southern regions. So now we have loaded the root of the data that we have. Let's load one level deeper. So let's go for the Northwind again. I have opened here the Northwind for our convenience in order to see what type of structures, for example, it gives us. The regions datasets have an endpoint that gives territories based on a region ID. So this is what I'm going for. I'm going to say, okay, give me all the territories based on a region. How we feed the region ID? You can use the set parameter option, from where you can actually pick again from the data context itself. And once we load the region ID parameter, we can actually test our request. And here we see that we get the territories based on that region. And here I would actually say, okay, list me the territories that correspond to the region that I have just picked. In order to improve a bit the layout, I'm going to set for the column layout here to be with wrapping and overflow auto in order to get this very nice scroll bar. And if we head for preview, here it is. We have a tree, we have all the regions, and underneath each region, we do have the corresponding territory. Let's not stop here. Let's actually go another grid, because we do know that the regions dataset also, the territories dataset gives us a list of employees that we can show based on a certain territory that has been picked. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is going to bind this grid again from the Northwind Swagger to the territories that are expecting an ID for a territory, employees collection. Here you see this very nice clue, very nice indication that gives us clue that something is missing for the grid in order to load its data. And what does it miss is actually the territory ID. How we are going to set it? We do have interactions in our builder. An interaction is like an action that you do, and you can bind a certain action to it. What do I mean by that? On the on-click interaction of this tree node, I would actually go for not navigate to another view, for example, or open a component. I want it to set a variable. What would be set with that variable? I'm going to set the territory ID to a new variable. I'm going to use the flow here, a new variable, which is going to be, okay, the new variable is going to give me the territory ID. I'm naming it TID, which is of type string. And now I know that upon clicking on a tree node of a territory, I'm going to fill in this variable, this state, and this state is going to be persisted, and I can use it across my application. And now the actual grid, the actual data that the grid is bound to, can say, okay, give me the TID out of it. So let's try this, and let's say, okay, I want to see all the employees that are under the Boston territory, and I see that ISA is part of this territory. We can also try Phoenix. In Phoenix, we do have one internal auditor that is part of this territory. So yeah, that was it for the tree component. The tree component shines in such cases by enabling you to declare and customize your hierarchy to suit your needs, and it gives you a complete control over both structure and behavior. Let me go here and add a new view, because now we are heading over to the hierarchical grid. I'm going to add this split screen view, and I'm going to click Ctrl E, which gives me a toolbox with all the components that we have available in the app builder. Upon selecting the hierarchical grid, it's placed within the container that I have been focused on, which was the first container here. Looking at the right again, what we do have is the properties panel, which gives us a lot of information about the hierarchical grid properties, like data that it bounds to, and a data hierarchy section, which gives us clue what the root level is and what its children levels are, and what type of features we do enable by default upon drag and drop, and what are the other features that you can use within the context of the grid. So now what I'm going to do is bind our grid. We have a hierarchical data source, which gives us customers with orders. I'm going to just show you a sneak peek of the data, and let's actually go directly here and say bind the grid to the customers with data. And as you can see, the hierarchical grid loads all the data and loads its corresponding children root levels. Basically, now what we have here, we do have customers with certain orders that they have been made, that have been placed, and each of the orders have a list of order details. And this is the parent child relation that the hierarchical grid is very good at handling. So let's see what we can do else with the data that we have. I'm going to add a chart because I want to have we have a very good representation of the data already. We have each of the customers, and we have all of the orders that they have placed, and we have order details of each order. But this is a more tabular data, more textual. I want to have a more visual representation of the data. So, for example, I want to have a timeline of the purchases that have been, of the orders that have been placed, and how many freight have been set as a value of the order. So what I'm going to do now, I already have added a chart. I'm going to say, Hey, upon clicking a row of the root element which corresponds to the customers, I want to create a variable which is going to be giving me orders. I'm creating this variable now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some configurations to the chart itself. First of all, I'm going to bound it to the local variable that I have just created, which fills a variable with orders. This is going to be a collection of orders. And here you can see that we, in the category chart properties, we do have a series which gives us um, a chance to actually edit the fields that I want to show. As I mentioned, I want to get the order date, and for the values, I want to get the freight of each of the order dates. Let's try this functionality out. So here, if I click on Anton, you can see that on this date, this is the freight sum that have been placed. Each of the customers is having a different one. And you can now see both textual representation of the data and a more concrete representation of the actual orders that have been placed. Actually, let's not stop there. Let's just do something like apply some action on the children as well. Let's go for selecting a child, and let's add a variable here again. But instead of getting the value from the actual row itself, let's say drill down and give me the order details collection, because I do know there is an orders detail collection under each of the orders. This is why you should know the structure of your data in order to get the most out of it, like with the hierarchical grid and the chart now. But instead of going for the route to create a new variable from here, I'm going to show you the variable sections that we have, and I'm going to create a variable from here. I'm going to say, okay, create me a new variable, and I want this new variable to be named order details list. The order details list is going to be with a type order with details. No, order details DTO actually is the one that I need. Order details DTO. Perfect. Now I would say, okay, upon clicking a row of each of the orders, fill me the order details list. What we're going to do with this information, I would actually want to expose a button within this grid, which is going to pop up a dialog and show me more details about the orders. How we're going to do this? The grid, the flat grid and the hierarchical and the tree grid has column templates. This is something that is shown here on the right with the grid column properties. You can say, okay, enable the cell display template, and here I want to place a button, and instead of showing me the order ID, I want just to show text which is show details. Let me increase the width of this column. And now, upon clicking of this button, I would actually show a dialog. How I'm going to show a dialog? I'm going to go here, create a new dialog. Here in the properties panel, again, you can see all the options that the dialog gives me. I want it to be from type custom content, which gives me a more powerful way to customize the content of the dialog. Here I would say details. I'm going to go for the template itself, and I'm going to select the text and just say add me a new category chart here. I'm going to remove the text, and this chart is going to be bound to the array that we have, to the details list that we have created. So now, let me go here and just bind the chart. I'm going to say, show me all the unit price and the quantity of the order details. As for the button, I will just give it an action to close the dialog when it's hit. Okay, let's try this out. What we do have now, we have tabular representation of our data. If we click on a record, a chart showing all the purchases that have been made will be shown. If I go for something else, for example, if I go for more information about the details, I can see again a tabular representation of each of them, like product ID, unit price, and quantity, or I can actually show the details of it. But something that I forgot to add is to bind the actual button to show the dialog that we just created. So I'm going to do so now. And here I'm going to do this again. Anton, here is the information, and voila, here it is. I see the details of this purchase, this order, which is shown in a very nice visualization through the chart itself. Okay, so we went through the tree grid, the tree, and the hierarchical grid. So yeah, as I said, hierarchical grid is very efficient when we want to handle parent-child relationship. Each of the parent records can have multiple child records, and you can nest data as deeply as you need. My wrapping words will be, by understanding the structure of your data, whether it's self-referencing, homogeneous, or with nothing in common, you can make an informed decision about which component best fits your application needs. Basically, you have to balance built-in functionality with configurability, because this is a key to selecting the right tool, the right component that you want to work with your data. And yes, before we wrap up, if you have any questions, reach out to us through Discord, GitHub, email. We are here to help you just build great software, and I truly believe that App Builder is the tool that can help you do this with ease. That was all from me. Have a great day, and see you next time. Back to you, Jason.
All right, thank you, Zdravko. That was awesome. I actually learned a couple things in there, so I really appreciate that demo. And I know it's always late there when it's early here, so thank you for spending all of the time you did to put that together. I think we did answer some questions. There's some good interest in what you were doing, and so hopefully everyone goes online. If you haven't already, tries an App Builder trial. If you're an existing customer, please give us feedback. As Ravko said, we're on Discord. We have forums online. Start a GitHub discussion. We don't care. But we are here to help you build apps better. And the only way we can do that is by hearing back from you. So with that, we have a poll. So the poll popped up. Please answer that poll. All of your answers do help us inform our roadmaps and our backlog. So we really appreciate the time that you do spend answering that poll. So the call to action, get App Builder today. Go to appbuilder.dev to sign up. You saw initially Zdravko had showed that sort of trial experience, but you can just sign up for a free trial and you get all the features. There's nothing that's going to stop you from using any of the features that you saw today. And we hope you do. And we hope that you talk to us about your experience, good or bad. We want to hear from you. And I think that's the nice thing with Discord is you're talking right to the product team whenever you want. So you have that access through those digital channels. I have a link here to the App Builder playlist up on YouTube. If you just go to YouTube and search for App Builder, you'll see a ton of videos, a ton of content. And I didn't update this link with our App Builder release blog. We have an updated release blog, but if you just go to appbuilder.dev/blog, you'll see the latest release blogs around Form Builder, around the Hierarchical Grid, and then every release that we've done. So if you want to know what happened in every release last year, we try to release once a month. You can go read about that there in the blogs. And of course, as I mentioned when we started, and hopefully you saw that in Zdravko's demo, we want you to build apps blazing fast with App Builder. Get all of that 80% of your dev time back, because it really can be done by the machine. We can automate things and make things faster for you that you usually would otherwise have to hand code. And then what's even cooler is we're going to start talking about more of our AI features in the next few months, about how we're going to accelerate your app building with WYSIWYG, with templates, with AI, all the things that are just going to make your life easier as a developer, because your job is not getting easier. It's getting harder every day. You have less people, less resources. You need tools like App Builder to help you do app delivery. So that's where App Builder can come into play, and I think that's where we can help you. So I want to thank everyone again. Please check out appbuilder.dev. My email, jasonb or zdravkozkolev@infragistics.com. We know you have a lot of polls on your time. We appreciate your time today. We will see you at the next webinar next month. We'll freeze the screen here. We'll stay on for a couple more minutes, answer the rest of the questions. And thanks again, Zdravko. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you at the next webinar.